Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and make sure you all can hear me. If you'd please type the number one in the chat box, let me know that you can. I would greatly appreciate it. Hey, Brenda, good afternoon. Good morning, Helen. How are you? All right, lots of ones in there. Hey, Alex. Hope your back is feeling better. It is much better. Thank you. Still a little bit of pain, but my journey was an interesting one this last week. I'll share with you guys in a few minutes some of what I did to get better. But um, hey, Jim, afternoon. Thanks a lot for that, Patty. It definitely is. Hey, Tom, good afternoon. Yep, camera's going on next. I don't know why it moved up there. Let's get that pumping and dumping. Oh, I got to open up the lens. Ta-da! Yeah, he is. Yeah, prayers always help, Jim. So I appreciate it. Everyone that sent prayers out for that because it is it is not fun. I was see if I can see the camera. That is about how far to the right I was leaning on Saturday when I went to the chiropractor. On Thursday, I was like this. So it had gotten better. And between Thursday and Friday, and I had some, major breakthroughs on those days, but on Thursday and Friday had a big change. So it was I won't say it was fun because it was not fun. Still in pain. Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna deal with this for a couple of weeks. I go for two treatments today. One of them is chiropractor. We'll talk about when I can get back to the gym because that's probably killing me more than anything else is missing out on that. Um, it's like a drug. It's what starts my day. I get up in the morning. I take my amino acids. I take my pre-workout drink. I do all my stretches before I leave the house. And that's just it. I don't just jump on a machine. I hurt myself lifting weights at the gym. First machine, first set, first rep. I tried to go a little bit deeper on the quad presses. When you land on the machine, you put with your quads, you're pushing out on a pad, flat steel plate. I tried to go a little deeper to engage the hips a little more, and wasn't good. And then I did an alternative treatment that made it worse. So that was even more fun. Um, but it is like a drug to me of getting to the gym. It is what starts my day. It's what keeps my energy going. And I would suggest Christmas time, right? Holiday season. I would this ring. It's called Aura, Oura. I would suggest all of you to look it up. Um, it is, in my opinion, one of the best way of measuring metrics on your human body that you could possibly use. Now, there are other ways to do it. I like this one as far as sleep. It's helped me massively with figuring out sleep, what I do and don't do right, and when, and so forth. And this ring tells me you burn this many calories. This is what your goal is for the day of calories. This is what you should be burning off of activity, not just living, not just breathing, what you should be burning off. And my average is between 550 and 700 is what it sets for me every day as the minimum. And with the exception of when my back is hurt, I never do 550 or 700. I'm doing 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 calories a day of burn, just with activity. So let's see. Jim said, not knowing the details of your back issue, would an inversion table help your back out? Yeah, I know exactly what it is. Amelia uses it. They're great for you. I have this great fear of not being able to turn myself over, and my wife, being 100 pounds soaking wet, would never be able to get me turned upside down. So, but you are right. You are right. Yes, Brenda, the ring is tied to Bluetooth. And, I don't know if you can see inside, there's some little green lights in there. And I know there you go. Now I just saw the flash on my camera, right? So it's a computer. It's exactly what it is. It's a computer. All right, let's get this show started here. So keep in mind that everything we look at is for education. Nothing's meant to be advice or recommendations. If you find something you like, anything, make sure it fits your own personal risk profile and risk tolerance. Um, for those who have back in issues, without a doubt, things like inversion tables are phenomenal. My wife would probably kill me if I tried to bring one more thing into our home, uh, because I've got every room in our house, with the exception of our living room, kitchen, and dining, which is one large room. Our whole first floor is for those areas are all wide open. We did an open floor plan. We built it. Um, every other room in this house, sauna, PMF mat, acupressure mats, red light therapy, just stuff is everywhere. Nortec boots for your compression boots, which are great, especially with long days on your feet. Um, but I did do chiropractor was a big help. Trigger point injections, if you're not familiar with those, look them up, folks. If you've got any kind of neck or back pain, shoulder, trigger point injections are amazing. Chiropractor, of course. And then I started for the very first time, I've gone about 5 times in the last week, is cryotherapy. Woo! It is cold, 240 degrees below zero. But man, what a difference. Yeah, there you go. Amelia said, how do you think I know about immersion tables? Yes, inversion tables. She's using them all the time, right? Okay. So today's agenda, we're going to go through our follow us page. We'll look at the trades from today, economic reports. We'll get into a market review, upcoming future trainings. We'll go into our weekly training topic and then your stocks in review. Okay, we've got camera on, right? All right, fantastic. So let's jump in. So guys, here's our follow us page. Everything on here, you can go follow that link, Wealth Builders HQ for YouTube or for TikTok or for LinkedIn. The trading post, you can go to tradinglikeaboss.com. You have to register for that. That's our newsletter. We send it out every single day. It's got top picks of what we're looking at for the day of candidates to consider trading in there. We've got different segments each day of the week, Monday through Friday. When we do it every day the market is open, we do have a newsletter go out. So you definitely want to check it out because if nothing else, it's giving you a couple of companies as potential trade setups for that morning, right? Today's trades, what trades did y'all do? For me, it's been very difficult to do a whole lot. Last week, I did nothing, guys, or barely anything. I managed a few positions. It was very complicated. Thursday, I did pop. Didn't do pop earlier in the week, which we said that we're going to extend everybody's subscription for me not doing it. But I didn't do it earlier in the week. We only did one last week. And I did it on Thursday. And that took me basically 3 different times of sitting. I had to sit, get up for a few minutes, stretch, come back. And so forth. And I've got a bunch of stretches that I've done that are phenomenal for my back. So I didn't get a whole lot off. So, but I do have some things that we did last week in pop. So we'll take a look at those. But what did you guys all do? There we go. Jeff said, did 5 trades on average, 7 seconds each. My God, Jeff, you're slowing down. Took you 7 whole seconds? Woo! Man. For mini NQ for $328, first 20 minutes of the open, all long, 5 contracts each. Great job. Great job, Jeff. Fantastic. Trip said 28.6% on AMD in 11 minutes, 18.9% on NVIDIA in 2 minutes. Yeah, Trip, I'm ticked off that I didn't take the trade, even though the setup wasn't perfect on AMD this morning. I watched it and said, all right, come on, close near it, pull back. Where's the pullback? It just broke away. I'm not going to take it. And it was a good setup. It was a really good setup. Alex said, ready to get back into trading, day trading this month. It's been a darn choppy and yeah, I sat on my hands. If I counted right, SPX has gapped 24 out of the last 31 days. I wouldn't be surprised. Looking to swim with the current, not get tossed around in the wild rapids. Haha. No, but you're right. And that is part of the problem, right? Is we try to make our own path. I watched this week. It might have been over the weekend. Bruce Almighty was on, which automatically, when cable puts that on, you can plan on Evan Almighty being up next, right? I like Bruce Almighty, but I like Evan Almighty better. And the funny thing is, I don't care for the guy that plays Evan. I don't like shows like The Office. It's just not my jam. Not that they're bad. It's just not for me. I don't like his type of comedy. In this, I think he did a pretty good job. And when he's standing outside with God by the wood in front of his house, and he goes, but it's just not in my plan. And God just starts hysterical, just belly laughing that he can't control himself. Everybody's got a plan, right? Like you have any say in it, your plan, absolutely hysterical. But but we never want to get tossed around, right? Never want to get tossed around. Let's see. Brenda said, yeah, wow. Brenda's crushing it on SPY, guys. Yeah, I didn't get it, Brenda, so my team probably didn't get it early enough to send it to me. Actually, I might have it here. Yeah, it's still processing. The video's not in yet, or the screenshot's not in, so I'm sorry about that. Patty said, Amazon, a very small win, but it was a win. There you go, Patty, and that's the right attitude. You moving in the right direction. Needle's moving properly where it's supposed to go. right? Into that bullish territory. Jim said, I got 20 SPX weeklies calls scaled out for a profit of $43,600, $906 minus commission. Woo! Wow. Great job there, Jim. Holy mackerel. Yes, everything, folks, is non-funded. We don't care. Funded, not funded, win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. Everything's non-funded. We're not here to say, show me your account. I don't need to see it. Alex said, I've been doing covered calls, but down a few percent for the first time in a while. Obviously, Covered Call Explorer works awesome. Brandon's killing it with SPX trades so far this month, though I think 9 out of the 10 have been winners so far this month, so I'm happy. There you go. Patty's congratulating everybody, as are a few others, folks. So, yeah, absolutely congrats, folks. If we look at our charts, and this is the S&P. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but we definitely need a new fib. We definitely need a new fib. Congrats to all the traders from Jim. Brendan said, I waited for a retracement since I missed the morning move. There you go. And I bought puts. Brenda, hey, man, it's just, you're rocking it. So whatever you're doing, I don't even want you to ask me what you should do different, because I don't want to give you anything to do. I just want you to keep doing what you're doing, because you're crushing it with your setups. So you're doing fantastic. All right. So if we go ahead and, where is it? All right. So guys, if we look, these were setups from last week. Now, these are one contract trades. I do not need to show you that we're up $1.5 million on our main account. It really doesn't matter. Many of you are not going to be trading at that level anyway, so who cares, right? But can you trade one contract? Yes. But Rob, I can't do booking. I don't have $60, $70, $80 to $90, $100 a share to buy a contract of booking, even at one contract. And the wide bid-ask spreads, the big moves, the implied volatility crush, is not for me. Okay, so take this $12,831 right there and back out about 10 grand, which is 11 grand, which is the two booking trades, and just leave it at $1,000, not 12, $1,000, right? So we're talking about for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of last week, making $1,000 on one contract. Now, I understand that for some, you can't retire on that. You're like, yeah, Rob, this ain't enough. I'm not doing it. But it's also not to the point, shouldn't be, that you're looking at this saying, man, I just need to risk it all and throw everything on black, or everything on red, or everything on 15. That's not what it should be. Come on, baby. Papa need a new pair of shoes. It should never be that. Ever be that, right? This needs to be slow and steady wins the race, right? The tortoise and the hare, right? Beautiful story when it comes to the market. It's not who gets to the finish line first. It's getting there properly, right? Who has money left when they get to the finish line? That's what it comes down to. On Adobe, we lost $7.80 on the 14th. And then on the 17th, we made $460. We're not even going to talk about the two bookings that are in there. On Goldman Sachs, one contract, we made $920, which means on our full 10 contract trades, we made 10 grand, $9,200 on the full 10 contract trade on this, right? But you don't need to do that. Yeah, but Rob, okay, so making $1,000 over the course of 3 days is okay. It's only 50 grand a year if you take 2 weeks off vacation, right? If that's all you did, trade 3 days a week, you didn't trade Monday, you didn't trade Friday, you just traded Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I'm making it up, right? But 3 days a week, you just trade 3 days a week, you make $1,000 in those 3 days. 50 weeks with taking 2 weeks off vacation is 50 grand. Again, some of you can't retire, but here's the thing, and you may be looking at it saying, but I can't even start to if I start taking all that money out, I got nothing to trade with then, I got a really small account, a few $1,000s. What do? You don't touch it. You let the money build. You build up, and build your confidence to where you can do a second contract, not trade, contract. So now instead of $900 on Goldman Sachs, you would have made $1,800. Instead of $460 on Adobe, you would have made $900. And folks, these are here. I'm not doing this to impress you. That's not me. Y'all know that. That's not why I do this, right? What I'm trying to do, that old adage of impress upon you, right? To show you what's possible. So Oracle, one contract, $500. Lilly, one contract, $1,800. Great day. Is it normal? Hell no. Well, maybe not, but here's another Lilly at $1,000. Here's another Lilly at $530, right? But keep going, because I want to get to the ones that have gone against us too. SPY, $183. right? Lily, here's one that went against us for $600. Here's another Lily at $2,500. Why is Lily so good? Man, it's just rocking. It's got everything behind it, momentum wise. It's just going and going and going. So, minus $23 plus 600, minus 522 plus 530 plus 1,000 plus 1,000, minus $7.80, minus 382, minus 877. We start getting in a little bit bigger number there, right? And so on and so on and so on and so on. I don't know why that's in. That's just an empty field. Okay, we don't need that. All right. Yes, Lan, this is all based on just one contract. Just one. If we go back here, what in the world happened there? All right, so I don't know why my header is gone there. But yes, there's a quote in there now instead. But these are all one contract trades. If you look at the stop out, forget about the number for entry. The way this spreadsheet was built, Lan, was it either takes only tens or fours. That's how I started Pop, was only 10 and 4. And we would have one exit here, one contract there, or 3 contracts, or 4 here, and then 3 here, and then 2 here, and then the last one here, right? Well, now we're just showing one contract. So it doesn't calculate anything other than a closing price, right? Or closing P&L for each one. So they're just one contract, showing that it is possible. And if you look at these and say, okay, but Rob, man, some of your stocks are just, they're a little high price for me, right? Well, if we go by Fibit, well, actually, let's go by close. Sorry about the noise. Landscapers are outside in force today. So simple, right? Here we go. So if you took out anything over $500, you're going to take out APP and up, right? So that takes out 870. That takes out 8 companies out of there, right? Which leaves us 12 less, 12 left, right? So CrowdStrike, Tesla, Home Depot, Broadcom, Adobe, Carvana, Coinbase, Amazon, Adobe. I'm sorry, not Adobe, AMD, Oracle, DoorDash, Netflix, and we've got things, right? So it is there now. By the way, Netflix, made a change there, guys, with a 10-for-1 split. Okay, so that's just FYI. They're probably not long for power option plays at this point. Just because of the pricing of it. We've seen this before where we don't, Amazon stayed, Google went away, Apple went away. I mean, all these big splits. Tesla is still there, but they have not done as many before. So Tesla is newer. Now with Netflix having a 10-for-1 again, I mean, another company with that big of a number, I just don't know if we're going to be able to sustain. And you can see what it's done since it's split. It had a quick pop on the actual, oh my God, somebody screwed up today. Netflix only $115. Buy. Not realizing that it had split, right? So you just find the stocks that fit your risk profile. Don't do all of the stocks. I say it over and over again. 20 stocks is what I think belongs on your list. 15 is a bare minimum. 20 is what belongs on your list. With 20, I can find 2, 3 every single day as potential trade setups. Take the 10 off of this list that you like. Go find 10 of your own. That's all. As an example, Tripp is a big fan of banks. He loves the banks, right? He's trading QQQ, right? And there's people that are in, the students that are in our inner circle. They're in the trading room. They've got their own positions that they trade day in and day out. You don't have to trade what's on Pop. This is a place to start, right? But, to me, Dutsubatsu, sick in the head, is a broken translation from my half Sicilian Nabaladan background. But I think you're crazy not trading certain stocks. I mean, Carvana has been an absolute gold mine for us. DoorDash, it's been a great stock, right? Tesla, it's okay. Home Depot, it's okay. Goldman Sachs, I'm not a Goldman Sachs fan. I trade it, but I just don't do well with it most of the time. Do I like companies like Meta? Yeah, I need Meta a little bit lower so I could buy some, right? And I'm looking to add to some other positions as well. But overall, guys, as we look at the S&P, we'll get a better understanding of what the market's doing. But great job on the trades today. I mean, really great job on the trades today. With the bounce that we had, really opportune moment to take advantage of. Economic reports, which actually now all have dates on them, right? Which is really good. Go over to Forex Factory, and let's go take a look, right? Consumer confidence Wednesday. I don't know if that's because government not back in action or if it's just because of the holiday coming up, if they're gonna what time they're gonna do it or not in advance of. So PPI this morning, core PPI, retail sales, all of those red, big, major reports, right? But they are ranked as a 2 in here because they're all pre-market. They're all red, but they're all 2, right? 10 a.m. Today, these are also a 2. They're orange, but they're during the market time, so it's got a rank of 2. 1 is the most important. So we've got a 2 here. These would be 3s as pre-markets, but we'd give the whole time frame a 2. Why? Because the only person, excuse me, the only person I think so far that chimed in on trades that they did that this would have any effect on here today would be Jeff, because he's trading the futures. If you're just trading the regular equities market, it doesn't matter. It comes out at 8:30. The market's going to react when it opens an hour later. We got nothing Thursday, nothing Friday because of the holiday. Friday is an early close. It's a 1 p.m. close on Friday. We will only be open till 1 as well, but we will be open on Friday. Yep, there you go, Brenda. You typed it in just as I said it. Thank you for that. Let's go here. I was actually waiting until we got to our page of all of the upcoming classes to say it, but and the opportune time is there. Market review. This was a good week to get sick. This last week. When I say sick, I couldn't do anything with my back, right? So the equivalent of being sick. We'd already had a couple of down days. Let's bring this in a little bit. Let me take down the symbol grid. Okay, get another one. Yeah, all right. And let me get the drawing tools. Okay, we had a low, we had our swing high, right? That's where our fib started and finished up as. We had a higher low, and then we had a lower high. So we're getting a wedge formation in here, was what was starting, okay, with that lower high. All right, so let's go back, and we had our start, and our finish. We had a low, a higher low, and we had a lower high. So higher low, HL, and lower high, right? Then we had made a move up to here. We had a lower high and then a lower low. So things changed. That holding of above there, was actually wipeout, right? We broke it and we're down. Right now we're looking for the new high. We came back in on Friday, and yet again we put in another lower low on Friday, right? So are we now in this wedge formation down, or not wedge, but this channel formation down, that we're looking for a continuation of bearish moves to take place in here? It's very possible. It's absolutely very possible. Okay. I don't know. I got to break this high before I know anything, or I got to break this low before I know anything. So if I take this off and we go mark them, right? So there's drawing tools to use for this. We got it here. We have here. Okay. So I know where we're at as far as our levels are, and I can see we have a high, a lower high, a lower high. We've got a low, a lower low, and a lower low. Well, Rob, wasn't this a lower low? It was, but you can't count it just because it went down. Because if I take this off of the screen, on this day, can you tell me markets closed with absolutely 1,000,000% certainty that we're going up tomorrow? Because if you could do that, then you could use that bottom. But until that happens, the end, and I mean not come back down, not put another lower low. You can't. So you've got to wait until that you get a low, and then you have a higher low, and now you can consider it. But just on a candle, and just if you don't know this or you don't remember it, write it down, put it up on the wall somewhere, tape it on your monitor, whatever you got to do. Okay? You should never, ever, ever use the last candle on the far right of the chart to draw anything off of, because it's not a decision yet. All that candle is showing me is we closed on near the lows of the day with a lower low for the day. Yes, But it doesn't mean we are at our lower low yet. We might have another one. And we don't want to have a line every day saying low, here's a low today, then tomorrow, then the day after, then the day after. And you just have line after line. It doesn't do anything for you. From a technical standpoint, it doesn't. Okay. So let's bring this current. All right. So what are we looking at right here? We're going to redraw the fibs. I'm going to do it tonight in pop. I'm going to draw from this high right here down to this low. Actually, right, probably down to this low right here. Right? And we got a good bounce in there. We definitely made our 236 back. I'll look to redraw SPY as well. But we have a lot of stocks that are doing the exact same thing. Now, does this mean we're out of the woods? Life is good at this point. Excuse me. And we're looking for bounces? No, not at all. There are still a lot of things going on economy-wise and so forth. Here, I'll give you a great example. I am negotiating energy for my home right now because our home is heated by oil, by fuel, oil fuel. And last year when I negotiated this time, WTI crude was about $57, $58 a barrel. Right now it's around 70. At least it was last week when I called them. And they want to raise my gallon price by 50 cents a gallon. Like, you're out of your mind. 50 cents. You got a lower price. Well, in the Wall Street Journal, no. Let's not play games with the numbers you want to use. If you're going to go quote me a Wall Street Journal price, I said, that's fine. Go back and quote me the Wall Street Journal price a year ago. Because that's what we're focused on. What is crude going for, not what's happening here. But prices are still high. Businesses are still overcharging in many arenas, right? Is that going to stop? Well, in some things, healthcare, drugs, right, in healthcare. With what the president just got approved and so forth, and set forth with some of the drug companies out there, I think that'll be a big plus. But there's still definitely concerns of what overall costs are going to be. Right. And funny thing is, I heard the report this weekend that Gen A, I was telling my team about this morning, Gen A, number one thing, most important thing to them right now, according to a survey done, not according to Rob, is early retirement. Excuse me, early retirement. Being able to retire at 59. Now, listen, I talked about that when I was working in manufacturing, that I wanted to be done by the time I was 55, right? As far as I'm concerned, I retired 27 years ago when I started trading the market, period. This is all fun to me. I love doing this, right? So if they're looking to say, okay, I want to be retired at the age of 59, that's fine. But if healthcare gurus are right and the massive healthcare improvements we're going to see over the next 5 to 10 years kick in, and the expected life for the average person in this country goes from 80 for a man up to 92, 95, whatever the numbers are, go up to that level. 65, 67, whatever the number is now for social insecurity, they can't hold that. You can't be retired at 67 years old and live to 97. Social Security is not meant for that. It's not. So they're going to raise that age. So unless you become independently wealthy, you're trading the market, you're doing real estate, you own your own business, you do something to generate cash that does not require another human being to decide your life's path. And trading is just that. No one else gets to decide your path except you, unless you allow them to or ask them to, right? And I'm not saying you quit your job and trade, right? I heard all those types of stories when I was an Amway distributor. Quit your job, go buy a Winnebago, travel the country, and sell white powder in plastic bags. That was the exact way it was pitched. White powder in plastic bags. So Andres said, with the new fib redraw, could we be looking at an H pattern if it closes above the 50 and stays below the 618 and moves back to the 382? So just for kicks and giggles, Andres, let's do this. Let's pull this back. Let's draw from here to here. Right. So, yeah, I mean, we're right there, Andres. That's exactly, the H is exactly what we're looking at right there. Here, somewhere between here and here, we want to see the roll. And it could happen right where we are. It could get the roll over here tomorrow. Okay, that's fine. And then a 2 standard deviation move. If it moved off of the 50, Andres, you're spot on. We'd be looking at the 236. If it moves up and rolls over here, we'd be looking at the 382 as our downside. Jim said, by the way, the SPX daily chart from the high to the recent was a low of 4.1855% pullback. Okay, there you go. So we're only about 4% in there in total. Appreciate that, Jim, very much. Thank you. Yeah, so Andres, good catch. I'm glad to see you're thinking that way. I love it when I see people doing this, and it's just it's resonating. It's starting to sink in for some. And Andres has been doing this a long time. But I love when I see people thinking at it this way because it just there's so much value in what this chart tells us. Wow, excuse me. It's very simple. If I talk to my wife on the phone today, or even better, I didn't talk to her, she texted me. And I can tell by the tone of her text she's angry at something. Whether it's me, work, life, her mom, my kids, whatever it is, something is bothering her, right? I can take the approach of coming home with a shotgun approach and just throw all this stuff out and hope I solve the problem with it. Or I can figure out what's going on and try to either A, help her, help it, right? Help the problem, or B, figure the fastest way to the exit to get myself out of there because I can't win. Whichever one it's going to be. That's looking at the chart. That's making the determination. That's reading the fibs and saying, oh, I see this rollover on the 50 to 618. If it does, where does it go? The plan is in place. If you're a chess player, I like chess. I'm not very good at it. I like it. My brain is not wired that way. I could think one, maybe two moves ahead, maybe. So in an amateur player, I'm okay. But man, good chess players, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves ahead, they're already planning. I'm going to do this, you're going to do that, then I'll counter with this, and you'll counter with that. And by the time we do, it's checkmate. And I'm sitting there saying, what direction does the bishop move? Or the knight? It's two up and one over, or is it one up and two over? And I know the answer to that, but you get it, right? There you go. You got some kudos there, Andres, from Jim on the H. He did not see it. Um, what is a bishop? Yeah. Bishop is the person that runs our church, also. Or, no, I got the wrong guy. Sorry. I'm thinking of SWAT. I did some binging on SWAT this weekend, but it's not Bishop, it's Deacon, is the guy's name. Bishop was a bad guy in one of the shows. So, guys, with what we're looking at here, this 66.54 is the downside, the 67.35 is the upside. Do not discount the 67.65. And of course, the recent swing high is right there. So we could and should blue zone that right in there. Okay, perfect. So Gene said, does the H pattern indicate up or down? Yes, Gene. So it all starts with how the pattern moves. So this pattern was bearish from where the fib started to where the fib ended was bearish. So we're looking for a move up and then a continuation back down. If the move were bullish, look left to where we had our previous fib, from here to here, we made a move up, we pulled back, and there's our upside down or inverted H, Gene. So yes, it has everything to do with the direction the original leg, this is our leg, of that move went. Once we have identified that leg in there, we now know that it was moving down. We're looking for a small pullback and we're waiting for the failure. And that's, you waited from here to draw here, which probably didn't happen until today, which for us it didn't happen until today. Friday was too, it wasn't enough of a move yet. It was, but one candle I wanted to see more. So we get this rollover in here, and we waited all that time to get a trade set up in there. That's what it is. Now this is S&P. We're not trading that, but we trade the SPY right off of this. There you go. Andres said, yes, drew it today. Excellent. Good. Gene, does that answer the question? So the fib levels, directions, got it? Good. You're quite welcome. The fib direction, the fib levels, all of that, critically important in there, folks. Critically important. All right, let's go take a look at VIX. You can tell I'm out of practice with speaking. Big gap down. We're still in the middle on VIX. Nothing to be worried about. We're at a 21, much better than 26 for the cost of our options, without a doubt. Sorry about that. All right, let's go back into presentation mode. So coming up, Inner Circle tonight, 7 p.m. 7 p.m. We will not be doing the check-in tonight. Tonight is going to be our 2-hour training that I will be doing, so 7 to 9. Mastermind is tomorrow. December 1st is SPX Cash Flow. Trading You is on December 8th. So Power Option plays. We have regular one this week, today, right, for Pop. The other one I will do either probably Friday, but if I can get it done Wednesday, I will, but I don't know. It just really depends on what life is with the holiday with my wife. We're hosting our biggest ever Thanksgiving or holiday period in our home this Thanksgiving. We have in-laws from my daughters from both sides coming with family members. So we'll see what kind of time we've got available, but there's no market on Thursday. Cover Call Explorer. Trip, are you planning the same thing of doing it Friday, or are you trying to do Wednesday? Keeping in mind, Friday is a half a day. It's a 1 p.m. close. Power hours on regular schedule for next week, this and next. Next week, this Friday, no Trading Coaches Playbook. Market closes at 1. We're not going to do a Trading Coaches Playbook. There's also no E-mini on Thursday, right? Yeah, so Alex saying I highly recommend Rob's Fibonacci class from that we just did this year. Yeah, it was a great training. Right. So Chip said, yeah, his plan is Wednesday, but the best laid plans, right? So it may not be until Friday. So everybody's got holiday stuff they're dealing with, folks. So we'll get them out. You can look either Wednesday or Thursday. You'll see the email come through when it does. Grateful Thanksgiving special. As a thank you for being part of wealthbuildershq.com, get the AI-powered trading plan generator for only $4.97. This is a $35, $40 tool that we sell all day long. All day long. It's part of our standard system when someone new comes into the company. This is one of the first tools that they're introduced to. It's $4.97. It is AI powered. You will need to have an AI account with ChatGPT, but not a paid account. You will just need to have a free account. And you're limited to how many times you can run it before ChatGPT kind of puts you in the sandbox for a little bit and says, okay, you did a little too much today. Wait a couple hours, come on back, and you can do some more. If you've got a paid account, that's fine. It is our AI that we have created and trained on exactly the things we're looking for. Andrew dropped the link in there so you can grab that right out of the chat box. Weekly training topic. So trading and the reopening of the government. Now, we reopened last week, a week before, whatever it was, the end of the week, midweek. And things kind of jumped right back into play. But you would think, okay, the markets are open. Markets are open, then why are we still going down? Why do we gap up and then fail like this again, right? Just because the government was closed, I think, look, don't get me wrong, I feel bad for anybody that lost any pay during that time, that had to work and could not afford to feed their family because they were required to work. TSA, military, and so forth, Capitol Police, all of it, you know. And for those that didn't have to work, that we're going to get paid for not working later, again, feel bad for them. Did some of those people have a chance to go work for their cousin Lou, who's a plumber or installs windows or has a landscaping service and can make some extra cash on the side? Wonderful. Yes. Okay. But bottom line is, you can look at the government being closed. It wasn't fun, and there were some services affected by it. But do we really need all those people in government? Is bottom line, I guess, what it comes down to. And I'm not saying this is not a government, let's shut the government type down type of conversation here. It was, people realized whenever this has happened in the past that, yeah, it was annoying, painful for some more than others, right? But it didn't affect the overall market. So then why the slide? The slide, in my opinion, had nothing to do with it. The slide had everything to do with everything else going on in the marketplace, right? Whether it's US or with China or with Russia and Ukraine or wherever it's coming from, blowing up the boats from Venezuela or wherever South America they happen to be coming out of there, moving the warships in place, all of this stuff. You've got to. I'm not saying you should be a news monger that you just sit there and watch it all day long, but you want to at least know what's going on as you're planning on these positions. Now, if you're day trading, especially if you're doing the stuff that we do in Inner Circle, that you're in there and you're in and out quickly in minutes, right? Or you're doing like Jeff did today, where he's in and out in 7 or 8 minutes. It really doesn't matter warships or no warships. If that news comes out the second you get in or get out of your trade, it's going to affect what happens in the market there. But that's not going to have an overall effect on something that fast of a trade. It's just not. Okay. Usually, unless right before you hit enter, the news comes out, you missed it, and the market goes crashing and you're buying calls. Right? Yes, then there you go. But otherwise, no. So you really you need to be able to trade with your head on a swivel. All right. I am the type of person that I am not a very trusting individual. Right. And the expression my dad would use about me when he was alive was he saw it one day. He came to my office. He came to visit. He lived in Florida. I was working in New York. He came to my office for a visit, and I met. We were in the lobby. He and I just talking. He had just gotten there, and somebody walks in, a business client walks into the company, comes over, shakes my hand, and the guy walks away. And my dad comes over and he leans in my ear and he goes, "Did you count your fingers?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "You don't trust the guy, do you?" I said, "How do you know?" He goes, "I can look at your face." He said, "I'm your dad. I know." He goes, "I can look at your face and tell you don't trust him." I said, "Yeah." I said, I shook his hand and I count my fingers to make sure they're all still there. I am not a trusting person. When it comes down to walking down a street, particularly if it's one that I don't know where I am, I want to know my surroundings. I'm looking over my shoulder just to see what's going on around. If I am pumping gas, my back is pushed up against the back of my car, so I've got a fairly good view. My doors are always kept locked, so no one's coming in through the other side of the car. I keep my eyes open at all time, my head on a swivel. I get on an airplane, I want to know where all the exits are before I sit down. Where's the closest one to me? It's no different when it's trading, folks. You need to trade with your head on a swivel. Right now, I don't foresee that changing anytime in the near future. Although, not although, wrong word. Conversations with traders, nothing has changed from 10 years ago when they were trading for them. They've not become more market aware, more position aware, meaning the stock aware of who you're trading. They're not more aware of things. They're just kind of playing the game. They're just doing their thing, right? And not really looking at, to me, it's the equivalent of when we used to trade something called a chicken trade. What's a chicken trade? It's a strangle. You're strangling the market. You're getting in on both ends. It's a two-handed strangle, right? You're buying calls, you're buying puts with the anticipation that the market's going to move one direction or another. And as long as it moves enough, so how would we expect it to move enough? News, earnings. As long as the earnings drive it enough, the calls will go to worthless. The puts will have more value in than the cost of the two positions together. But market makers had figured that trade out and they started manipulating price. And once they did that, once they manipulated price like that, that strategy no longer worked. If you kept trading that strategy to this day, oh my God, 6666 was the number on the 8 moving average there. Woo, that's horrible. And you kept trading that strategy till today, you couldn't trade it till today. You'd been wiped out. There's no way you'd still be around as a trader unless you had, Daddy Warbucks money in there, just massive millions and billions in your account. It didn't matter if you lost or not. Okay. So you've got to trade with your head on a swivel and focus, and I mean truly focus on what you do. So if we take as an example, Carvana. Let's do Dash. Okay. So DoorDash. We've had a gap down in here, a retest, a fail, And now we're just kind of meandering for the last 2 days, Friday and today. Okay, so let me scrunch it up a little bit. Let's get symbol grid up. No, not what I want. Okay. So we've got DoorDash. It's got a 2155, 175, 85. Okay, so I don't need a fib in here. Okay, no fib required. So I'm looking at this right now saying, okay, market's closed, and I'm looking at this stock. First question is, what's the plan? Right? That's the first broad spectrum question that I'm going to ask myself or state. What's the plan? Right? Well, do I want to trade this bullish? Well, we're in a bearish bias rank of 3 right now. So do I want to trade it bullish? Probably not. Well, Rob, what if it breaks that 192.78, which is this red line, this fib line? What if it breaks that level? Could you trade it bullish? Well, I could if it moved up, retested, and bounced, but I've got 198 right now as resistance. Might be down as low as 197. I'm getting a bounce off of 193. What am I getting? A buck or two out of this? It's not worth it. So the answer is no. So I'm not interested in trading that. Okay, then what about the downside? Would you trade the downside on it? Yes, I'll trade the downside. How? I need the position, this is DoorDash, to close closer to that 193 level. It doesn't have to get all the way up there. Close up higher. Retest and fail. Now, that close may not happen. We may close where we are, and tomorrow I decide that the move up towards the 192.78 and a fail is indicative of me to take that trade. It's everything that I need. And you'll make that decision based on your risk profile, not me, not Trip, or not Amelia, or not Tony, or not Brandon, or not, Greg, or anybody else that's in here. It doesn't, Andres or Jeff. No, you make for you. Jeff makes for Jeff. Andres makes that decision for Andres. What fits your risk? And you've got to look at this, that this is very much, when someone says, well, it's really not you against the market maker. Well, the hell it's not. Because bottom line is your money's at risk and the market maker is the one that's going to take it. Yeah, but the market maker doesn't end up with it. Doesn't matter. There's someone else on the back end that's going to exercise a contract or have the other side of the trade. And the market maker is that middle man or woman or AI that it just passes through. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You are up against the other side of the market. That's all that the bottom line is. And your question has to be, with my system, do I have a higher probability of being right and being able to take profit on this trade than whoever is on the other side, whether it's a market maker, AI, an algorithm, an individual, whatever it is? Do I have what it takes in my system to come out, a better chance of coming out on the right side of this trade? And that's bottom line, because are you going to be in a position one day that you're looking at an option and you're trying to decide, should you close it out or not? It's a selling position. It's $4 out of the money. Am I going to spend the 5 cents to buy it back plus the commissions? Maybe I'll just let it expire. And then all of a sudden, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, an hour before the market closes on Friday, you get a notification from the broker that you've been exercised. Like, wait, what? How the hell? What? Why would I be exercised? We're out of the money. Who the hell is buying the stock at that price? Right? What? Wait a second. Stop. And you have no idea what's happened on the other side. And what I mean by that is you just don't know. Not that someone is required to tell you. I don't mean that. What I'm saying you don't know is you don't know if the person on the other side also got exercised, don't have the cash to generate or cover a position. Maybe they got stock put to them, or they got stock called away from them, and now they're going to call it away from you. It costs them an extra $4, but they don't have the $72 a share to buy the stock, or in this case, the $200 a share to buy the stock. So it's cheaper for them to just deal with it, take that loss on and call it a day. Right? So just because you think you're right and you're trading and this is the right rules and so forth, you've got to make the decision based on your risk. Are you okay with that scenario as an example of holding over a weekend with, over a Friday night into a Saturday afternoon with an open position that you're short on? Right? You've got to make that call. But you can't do that if you can't analyze what's going on in the market. So if I'm sitting here looking at this, my first instinct is I'm not taking this bullish at all. I don't have any bullish interest in it whatsoever. Retest the 193 and fail. I'm going to look to take this trade. My goal is down here at 175.5, so 177 or so is where I put my target. But more than likely, I'm going to go ahead and target these bottoms. if I have more than one contract, I'm going to target that 182 level as my first place to either A, if I have one contract, maybe just take the contract off, call it a day, my micro day trading strategy. B, maybe I'm looking at this saying, you know, maybe I'll just tighten up my stop. Maybe I'll put a trailing stop on and I'll tighten it a lot there. So if we do bounce from there, I don't give a whole lot back. There's nothing wrong with that. Or maybe you're just scaling out of your position. You had two and you sell one at that point. But I just gave you three scenarios for the exact same exit, right? You've got to make that ultimate call of, ooh, Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter. You've got to decide what you're going to do. I can't do that for you. I can give you what I'm looking at, but I can't tell you what you should do. And you have got to be comfortable with that position in order to do so. So keep your head on a swivel, stay liquid, all SWAT terms, right? Keep your head on a swivel and stay liquid, right? But seriously, you've got to be able to manage the position like you're on, like your head can spin 360 degrees and you can see everything. Okay? You're wearing night vision glasses that has a camera behind it. Or if that doesn't make sense to you, your mom, when you were a kid and you were behind her and she knew exactly what you did. You know, my mom could rip a shoe off her foot facing north and throw it south and hit me in the head with it without ever seeing where I'm at. It's like she had, goggles behind her head of what was going on. um, what is the safest place to sit on a plane? The back of the plane, Brenda, is the safest place because no plane hits a mountain from the back. Okay. Yeah, we might. I'm just not going to draw all the new fibs today. I'm going to wait until Pop to draw them all in there. Jim said, I listened to a financial planner and he said normally a year later after a government shutdown, the market is up. Maybe. And I've never done that analysis. I've never done it. Let me see something. Come on. Nope, doesn't want to do it. Let me just stop the share for a second. For some reason, Perplexity is not opening up. All right, here we go. So if you're not using it, Perplexity now has this, it's called Comet. I think it's comet.ai. You can go in there and you can use Perplexity's web-based browser instead of Google, which I like very much to not use over Google. No blue links, no I paid for this answer to be up on the top, none of that stuff. Go back 100 years and look at the stock market. Tell me if the market is up 1 year after a government shutdown. Oh, I didn't mean to do all caps. Sorry about that. And if so, by how much? And this is the stuff I sit and I do in front of a financial planner, if it were. I did this in a bank the other day when they were telling me I couldn't do something. And I did this in a bank. I'm looking at Perplexity to get an answer. Mining shutdown of 70s. Frequency of ups versus down across the roughly 18 to 22 shutdowns since the 70s, depending on how brief funding gaps are counted. The S&P has been up the majority of the 12-month window after shutdowns, but not all of them. There are documented cases. So it didn't want to give me all that I asked. So I'd have to ask the question a different way. But you see what I'm getting at here, guys. Okay. By the way, we're going to do a training next year, and my team is freaking out over it because they're trying to figure out where I'm going to stick it in. But we are going to do a training next year on using AI for the market. It'd be a very low cost training. It's just it's something to make you show up. We do this stuff for free, and you register 1,200 people and 400 show up. It's like, yeah, okay, we don't need that, right? So it'll be something very low cost. But we're going to go over how to use AI effectively in your trading. All right, your stocks in review. What candidates do you want to look at? Well, yeah, without a doubt, Trip. The problem with the scenario is that we've got to go through it all over again in January. Yeah, I don't think January is going to be very kind. I think we're going to see a longer shutdown in January. Although this one might be the get rid of the filibuster one after Trump has pushed so far hard for it already. So we'll see. I'm torn about it, but I think that there is value in not having that thing around. All right. So let's see. GLD. All right. So, all right. So on GLD, all right, we got a little bit of a bounce today. So we've got a recent swing high. I'd love to see us take out. My wife is just sitting on a whole bunch of jewelry that she wants to get rid of. Stuff that she's got, that a bracelet's broken, an earring that she lost one and has another, um, and that she wants to sell. And she sold some back here, and I told her that it had gone up. And now every day I get the question of where's gold, where's gold, and if I don't give her an answer, she's asking uh, Alexa, which is not a good place to ask any serious questions to, in my opinion. But so I like where we're at. That 388.18, Brenda, is the first place we're going to have to clear. NFLX, we've got a new fib on there because of the split on Netflix. Okay. So we're looking at downside chart. Oh, darn. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. I forgot I had taken it off. Oh, I wanted that perplexity up there for you guys to see it. This is my personal perplexity. So there are my personal things that are in there pop up. So I needed to take it off of the screen first. Um, yeah, you don't need to see my crazy recipe requests and so forth. So GLD, here's the fib on it. Right, here's that 388.18. That's what I'd love to see it clear. But right now, that 380, it's got to clear, and then 365.80 is our downside target. Netflix, thank you for letting me know, though, that there was no chart up on the screen. Here's the new fib on Netflix. Had done great. Last couple of months, it's been off. We're sitting down at the 50 right now. So we can get the bounce here, would be wonderful, but I would more expect the drop, the retest, and the fail, with 100 being a downside target. Can somebody jump out real quick and tell me what a contract that expires this Friday, 65-ish delta, closer to 65, at least 100 open interest, which should not be a problem. At least 100 open interest. What's the bid and ask on an option for this Friday's expiration on Netflix? And we'll come back to that one. And then, so right now we're looking at 100 on the downside, 109 on the upside, Brenda. SPY, I don't have the new fib drawn on there. It's going to come from here to here. We're ready at that 50. If we get the rollover, this is the place we're looking for, somewhere between the 50 and the 618. Downside 664. And I'm going to take that back off because I'm going to need to draw it on there tonight. I hope that helps, Brenda. Sure, Andres. Microsoft. Yeah, retest the 479, drop down to the 455. 22, 55, 65, 75. Yeah. Oh, we don't have it. So this is too big. We need to start splitting levels in half, which I'm not a fan of at all. It's 24 points, and my Fibit is 2263. So, makes more sense. We bounced off the 467 today. Got near it on Friday, too. All right, but that's what we're looking at, Andres. That 467 retest, the 479, drop down to 467 is where I'm looking for my exit. AMD. Yeah, again, I stayed away from a trip. That gap up, we just didn't get the move this morning. 5 minute just ran. I looked at the one, and it's okay. It's not horrible. We pulled back, we closed right there, opened right there, bounced right there. Yeah, no, didn't get it, right? And then we had a great run off of that 208 to 215. Come on. So I'm looking at 207 and a half and 220 as my support and resistance right now. Micron, I haven't looked at Micron much. Oh boy. So we're going to need to redraw. I'm going to come. So we could come back from this here, but that's just too big of a drawdown. This was a gap up, gap down, fixed it the next time. It was just, it happened. We gapped away, which really kept it in the range here anyway. We gapped back down below it, and then we gapped back above. So this one seems like a more normalized place. But we've given all that back. But we probably didn't close below the 882. We did. So it's close, Trip. It's really close. um, all right. So Trip came back and said the 210 calls has a minimum mark of 845 on Netflix. The 222 half puts has a minimum mark of 945. So they're not horrible. They're not horrible. Brenda had numbers there. We're getting some different numbers here, Trip. Maybe just what you're looking at. Um, Alex said the 106 puts are 69 delta, 228 by 239. Brenda said 206 by 216 bid ask on Netflix. So, I mean, they're not expensive, guys, is what I'm getting at. Netflix has now become a very affordable company. Alex said, not one stock specifically, but any thoughts on the energy sector? My energy stocks have been sagging lately. So crude is down. I mean, we saw the big move down in oil. I don't know why gas prices in some of our local stations have gone up to over $3 a gallon this week. Of course, the one I used was 305, which was very high compared to some others. I saw 279 in the neighborhood yesterday, but so just energy is contending with that across the board. So I just with everything that Trump is trying to get approved or not, and or the fights of can we do the drilling offshore, can we do more fracking and all of that, is causing some of the price craziness. Oh, okay. Trip's numbers were AMD. Okay, duh. So guys, about $2 for an option, two and a quarter for an option on Netflix. So dirt cheap. Yeah, Brenda, sure. GLD right there. Okay, and then Henry, you're asking for big airplane. Oh, okay. Why is it not changing? So definitely not doing well. I need the break of the 179, the retest, and the fail down to 169. I like it a lot, especially if I can get bearishness in the overall market. I got nothing crazy here, even on CCI, nothing telling me we're looking like we're going up. We're still climbing on ADX. DMI minus is still above 40. I mean, we got every signal is telling us down, right? Break the 178.80, retest and fail. 169.30 is support. All right. Fantastic. Excellent. All right. So there you have it, everyone. Listen, Andrew dropped some links in there for you. So go ahead and get that trading plan generator if you're interested. And then get registered for the next upcoming classes. Happy Thanksgiving, absolutely, to you and everyone. A lot of you putting in at the same time, but thank you very much for that, everybody. Have a great holiday. Make sure you spend the time with the family because you just never know. So have a good one, everybody. I will see you at our next update. I'll leave my screen on for now. You guys can go register, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.